All right, guys, so we got to talk about how Trump's illegal regime change in Venezuela is already backfiring spectacularly, and absolutely nobody is talking about it. So let's start with this. Maduro, the isolated dictator with no popular support, is facing the 8th straight day of nationwide marches in his defense. By the way, let's just point out, even if people in Venezuela were not too hot on Venezuela's leadership, the one way to guarantee that the people of Venezuela would fall back in line is, I don't know, illegally kidnapping him, abducting him, taking him to the US for a bullshit trial. That's like the one way. Because imagine, like, you know, think about this in the context of any country. Like, you might not even like the leader, but if your leader is fucking kidnapped and taken to another country, there's going to be a massive spike in support for your leader because, in principle, they were just wronged, right? So, like, of course this was gonna backfire. And the Trump people, they never thought about the people of Venezuela. They never gamed this out, the different consequences that might come as a result of this. Okay, so ready? Here we go. Let's watch some of these clips here. So I'll mute it, but you can just see here, we're talking about colossal numbers of people. Now, the other day, it looked like, last Monday, I want to say it looked like, holy shit, there might be a coup that's happening because there were some shots went off, some anti-aircraft missile were fired. Like, there was some stuff that was happening at the presidential palace. But come to find out, it actually wasn't a regime change because we hadn't heard anything about, you know, the VP being deposed or the head of the military being deposed or any of the top defense people. They're still there. So, guys, what's looking more and more likely by the day is that there wasn't actually a deal. The initial speculation, many people thought, hey, perhaps Trump and his regime, Marco Rubio, perhaps there were back channels and they made a deal with either the VP or one of the top military guys. And it was like, okay, you're going to turn over Maduro and you'll run the country and you'll play ball with us. That was the speculation. And I was definitely open to that based on the evidence and what we'd seen, right? But now, here we are, you know, however many days or weeks it's been later, and we're literally like, there's a traffic jam now. Like, nothing's happening, right? We're at an impasse at the moment. There's gridlock. That's the word I was looking for. There's like gridlock. Nothing's happening. Nothing's moving. So what it actually looks like happened is they went in there, kidnapped Maduro, and then they didn't think about the middle part, and then they expected the last step to be, we take all the oil and get rich off their shit. Also take their precious metals and their minerals, and they have a lot of natural resources there, right? But like, and you know, it's almost like a duh moment after a while when you stop and think about it, because yes, this is the Trump regime. This is how they function. Like, when it comes to, they have these grand ideas, but then when it comes to the details and the specifics and the particulars, nobody's smart enough to dot the I's and cross the T's and do the administrative work and the organizational work and, you know, actually do the logistical shit that needs to be done for anything to function. So it looks like, you know, the military actually did the really tough, like, okay, here's where Maduro is all the time. Here's how many people are around him. Like, they had enough information to know, hey, that's where we got to go. This is we got to come locked and loaded, take out a number of people, and then kidnap him. It could work. But, like, they don't know what to do now, because what's happening is Delcy Rodriguez, the VP, is not playing ball. Not even a little bit. Hasn't bent an inch. The military establishment there is not fucking bending. Not an inch. Nothing. To add insult to injury, Trump did this big event with the oil executives at the White House the other day. Guys, most of them are not on board with this plan. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a number of reasons why they're taking that position. Number one, they say it's uninvestable. The head of Exxon said it's uninvestable. Investable. In other words, you need to build up the infrastructure massively, and it could cost billions of dollars to build up the infrastructure to then start getting the oil. The other problem, though, is there's no fucking political stability. In order to make good on this investment, there needs to be political stability so that we know the oil's going to keep flowing and everything's secure. But of course, the Trump regime, all they are is an agent of chaos. They can't guarantee any political stability. They just kidnapped the fucking leader of a country, led to a massive backlash against us. Now we're hated more than we were before. They're not going to play ball. We can have fucking attacks on the oil infrastructure and U.S. people there all the time, of course. And so, holy shit. But it gets worse. You ready? It gets worse. You ready for this? So not only is there massive popular support in the streets for releasing Maduro, but we also get this. Ready? Breaking. The U.S. State Department issues alert for active kidnapping threat against Americans in Venezuela. That's interesting because I was told we're running Venezuela. The interim president, Rodriguez, was doing anything we asked, and there was no chance of insurgency or uprising. So here we go. State Department warns, leave Venezuela now as militias hunt U.S. citizens. The U.S. government issued an alert for an active kidnapping threat targeting U.S. nationals. Guys, they literally had no idea what they were doing. They actually thought, we're going to kidnap Maduro, then our endless threats are going to make it so that whoever remains in Venezuela, the VP and the military establishment, they will just start listening to us and they will do business with us. They will do deals with us. You want to know what the irony of all this was? Maduro was offering to do a deal with the U.S. Maduro was willing, like, yeah, let's fix up the infrastructure and we'll make a deal where you get a certain percentage of the oil and we get a certain percentage. So some of it comes back to Venezuela, but some of the money can go to, your fucking Epstein class over there. Maduro was willing to make a deal. They kidnapped Maduro, and now the VP and the military establishment are not willing to make a deal because you just kidnapped their fucking president. Like, this would be sheer fucking comedy if it wasn't also incredibly tragic, and if it didn't violate sovereignty and independence and lead to fucking carpet bombing of Caracas, where an 80-year-old grandma was killed and a 45-year-old mother was killed trying to protect her daughter, single mother. So it would be sheer comedy if not for that. But guys, they really thought, we'll kidnap Maduro, we'll basically coerce and extort whoever remains in control. They'll make a deal with us, and the oil companies will not be able to wait to go in there and fucking start taking the oil. And now it's all falling apart. Now you have roving gangs and militias kidnapping Americans because, of course, they want, hey, an eye for an eye, pound of flesh for a pound of flesh is what we're looking at here. You guys kidnap Maduro, we're going to kidnap every American. And now you have another problem on your hands. Oh, you want us to release him? Release Maduro. Right? This is what's happening. So, massive protests against the U.S. and backing of the regime. Delcy Rodriguez and the military establishment not fucking bending an inch. The oil companies going, there's no political stability, and it would take billions in investment and a lot of time before this gets going, so we're not even involved. Some oil companies are okay with it to some extent, but most of them are going, we don't want anything to do with this, because they also see the criminal element to this as well, that you didn't even bother to make an argument of freedom and democracy and all this stuff, the civilizing mission stuff that previous regimes were smart enough to make to give themselves international law cover. I think you got a lot of these oil companies are like, we don't want to be, on the hook legally as well. There might be consequences for this in the future. And so it all just fucking fell apart. Now, by the way, this is such a great story to share with you guys to remind you where this is headed. You ready for this? Look at this. Same time this is happening, January 10th. U.S. carries out large-scale strikes in Syria as part of an ongoing retaliation against ISIS. So what happened? I thought that Trump, we got rid of ISIS. ISIS is destroyed. They're destroyed. What happened? You said they were finished. You said they were done. You said it was taken care of. Now you need to do large-scale bombing raids against ISIS in Syria? What happened? It turns out you lied. It turns out you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It turns out you became besties with the former Al-Qaeda leader who's currently president in Syria. And now you got to bomb ISIS again because they're resurgent. The reason I point this out is because as that's going on, what are they telling us now with Venezuela? Oh, mission accomplished. We did it. It's over. We got it. Oh, really? It reminds me of Bush on the aircraft carrier with the mission accomplished sign behind him. Then we went on for fucking decades more of war with Iraq. They lied. So, we won, we got Maduro. Okay, now what, bitch? Now what? Delcy Rodriguez isn't playing ball. The military is not playing ball. You got roving gangs who are kidnapping Americans. By the way, we haven't even got to the point yet where they are literally criminally doing a full embargo right now on Venezuela. They can't let oil get out. They can't let oil get in. They have zero income coming into the country. We are starving innocent civilians. What the fuck do you think happens at that point when nobody can eat? Well, that's when they turn on each other and the country devolves into a massive fucking civil war. There's a lot of armed groups in Venezuela. At some point, they're going to be vying for power. You are trying to create a fucking failed state and thinking, oh, this is going to work out for everybody, and the oil companies will be happy, and we'll be happy. It'll be part of the new technocracy, the technate states of America. You think you're going to win in the long run? No, just like with your bullshit. We beat ISIS. No, you didn't. We took Venezuela. No, you didn't. They don't know what they're doing. They're fucking idiots. They're fucking idiots. They're dipshits. They're morons. They're in over their heads. And they're creating so many more problems as they lie to themselves like they're solving them. Just wait for it. It's already a catastrophe. It's only going to get worse. This thing has just began to backfire. And this is apart from the fact that all this was criminal in the first place. The idea that we're even debating doing this at all. Like, no, get in the fucking Hague, you total sociopathic freaks. Like, what's wrong with you? But here we are. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.